purple light in the canyon. That's where I long to be with my 3 good companions. Just my rifle, pony, and me. And that was the wrong intro. So hi everybody.
I was kind of digging it, man.
Yeah,
that was you singing.
That was me actually. Yes, and we just had John Smith join us, and I expect this show to be a little bit havoc and chaos because I haven't had more than 4 people on the show for quite a while. So bear with me. First of all, welcome to the Ranger Rob Country Living channel or podcast, we should call it here. And Jack, welcome to the show. My goal today was a lot of diversity because some of the subjects we're going to talk about, and I got people from all over the United States here. So I'm going to get everybody introduced here, and then I'll do some more talking here in a minute. But in the top middle, we have Jace from, we call him Jace the producer, does a lot of marketing and works with radio stations and video, and also does works with a call center, I think, for nursing. Is that correct?
Hospitals. Local hospital, medical dispatch. Yes.
Very, very busy young man. However, he survives off of a Hot Pockets, but I appreciate his background because he's like normal, like what most people are like, and so we're all the strangers to him. So anyway, it's enjoyable to have the diversity of having him on the show and very good friends. And even though there's generations between him and I, we are the best of friends, and I've always appreciated having him. So off to his side with the pink hat, that is Aimee from DragonFly Farm. She's has a 5-acre homestead here on Central Oregon, right by me, and we do a lot of work together. She's actually buying one of my pigs, and she's actually has a dairy cow. And a lot of people buy raw milk from her. And she also does chickens. She's got 3 lovely daughters and a great husband, and has become a very good friend of ours. At the bottom, off to the left, it's Small Town Tourist. That's what I couldn't remember. With John Smith down in Arizona. How are you?
I'm great, Rob. How are you?
Great. You're kind of late, but I was looking for a lot of diversity and people kind of spread out all over the United States, and we got it. I did try to get a couple others, but it was such last minute. They're going, Rob, we're eating dinner. Sorry. But moving right along, I got to move on over to Dave Helms, which is an old friend of mine. And him and I have done a lot of podcasts together based on RV travel and prepping. And his channel, or what he calls himself, is RV Prepper. And so his feed, and you're in Montana. Are you still in Montana?
Yep, still in Montana. At least I am right now. We've only done 26,000 miles since last July.
I know you've been traveling something fierce, so you're going to have a lot of good feedback on this show. So, and then last but not least, someone I haven't done a show with forever. He just never calls me anymore. He just, call me once in a while, Gene. So, anyway, Gene from Hamilton Radio, love to have you on the show. You're over there on the East Coast in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey. So we got semi-old people here and then old people here. I qualify for the old people, so I'm going to slip up occasionally. So love the young blood to keep us straight. I did try to get Sprague River Homestead. There are people off grid in Oregon. We're going to try to get them on next week. And George Guzman was going to try to make it, but his new wife has COVID, so she is doing better. So everything's going pretty good. So anyway, so guys, a couple of things I got to go through real quick to get the audio version of this show. We work out of Spreaker, and we're also in iHeartRadio, Spotify, several other platforms. If you have a podcast player on your phone, just go to the search, type in Ranger Rob Country Living Podcast, and most likely you'll come right up. put us in your favorites, and you can listen to all of our shows. This is episode 44, so we're getting up there pretty good. We try to do weekly shows on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we love to have the diversity of people. Homesteading, by the way, I want to define it one more time for folks, is you don't have to have 5 acres, 10 acres, 100 acres. It's a home. And really what it is trying to be more self-sufficient, or some of us are all kind of just like trying to not let the system take us down. And so we try to talk about what are we doing about if we lost our power, if we the food shortage is real or not. And I'm going to talk about that because I question all this stuff lately. But anyway, so we have such diversity here from people on the East Coast, people from Montana, Arizona, and a couple of homesteaders here. And first of all, the diversity is great. City people and country people are no different. We're just located different places, and we have different needs, different jobs, the whole work. So it causes us to have different needs for whatever's going on lately. So last but not least, I got to make sure that if you don't catch the show when it's live, please leave a comment anyway. We'd love to hear from you and any subjects you'd like us to talk about. And we'd be happy to follow up on our next show. And I also want to ask, has anybody in this panel watched the show Homestead Rescue?
Oh, yeah.
I just discovered it.
It's a great show.
So it's a show on Discovery.
Yeah.
And
you need a white tuxedo shirt to act like that.
Yeah. They I guess they have 9 seasons of this show, and I just started watching it. And I'm not sure if it's all like totally real, but anyway, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to comment on that a little more in the future. So folks, if you get a chance and you can watch this show called Homestead Rescue, they got 9 seasons. It's quite interesting, and it shows a lot of diversity in different kinds of ways that people are trying to be self-sufficient. And some of it's like, some people should not be in the woods. That's all I can say. And then last but not least on our show, you'll be seeing on the Ranger Rob Country Living YouTube channel, you'll be seeing us addressing the fact that we're just getting into corn, and we're just now getting ready into our hydroponic tomatoes. So you'll start hearing us talk about that a little more. And that pretty much covers my stuff. Other than the fact I just got through a estate sale, and I survived it. I'm still getting rid of stuff, but wow, I'll tell you, that was something else. But guys, I want to thank everybody in the panel who's here. And I want to talk about, first of all, because especially with the different regions here and in the places you guys all live, some of you guys are in the city, some of you are really in the city, and some of you are kind of half and half, and then some of us are out in the boonies. In fact, how far are you from a city, David, in Montana?
I live in Missoula itself, so I'm in a city.
It's a gorgeous city.
It's nice. You can get.
I hear it's changing. Yeah, I hear it's changing a lot. So you're getting some of those Californians up there now. They're gonna make it right and turn it liberal.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get animated sometimes.
Yeah. So I think even John's having some of that same problem in Arizona. So,
no,
but
we just had a great election.
What's that?
We just had a great primary election.
Did you?
It was fantastic. All good stuff.
Good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Glad to hear that.
I want to hear about the water situation. I want to start with John, because he's in Arizona. Because John, your Lake Mead is drying up. What are they telling you down there?
Well, I mean, there are cities now that are starting to recommend reserving water. I don't know if there's any cities yet that have actually said you have to. You've got to, stop watering your lawn, stop washing your car. I haven't heard anything like that, but they're starting to recommend, while you're brushing your teeth, shut the water faucet off. While you're in the shower, turn the shower off while you're lathering up, that type of stuff. Don't wash your car if you don't have to, that type of thing. So, it's coming, but we have had a great monsoon season. So it's been very rainy, and over the past, I would say 3 weeks or so, we're getting a lot of storms, a lot of rain. The reservoirs are increasing, which is good. But there's 5.5 million people in this city, in this general, Phoenix area, the greater Phoenix area, and it's only increasing. So they expect at least another 1 million people here within the next year. And that's really that, and some of these farms that are kind of nationally owned or maybe even owned by foreign countries that are tapping into the aquifers and things like that are just sucking up the water. So there's a lot of things that need to change. And unfortunately, a lot of them are policy changes. You can't, the weather is the weather. You can't change that. So you've got to change things via policy. And we're going to see what happens.
Yeah. So I have two East Coast people here, and one's from Florida, and the other one's from, I keep wanting to say Rhode Island. It's New Jersey. Sorry, Gene.
Oh, it's all right.
All right. So you guys, you've been getting a lot of heat as far as weather, right? Are you guys having hot spells over there, or is it?
Yeah.
Am I not hearing the news right?
It is 11:15 here, and it is still 85 degrees.
Wow.
The problem is here in Florida, we just went through probably 3 weeks of nonstop rain.
Wow.
To the point where the ground was so soaked they had trees collapsing on houses. I understand Florida's supposed to have 15-20 minutes worth of rain every day. I'm fine with that. I got used to that. I got myself a rain suit for the motorcycle, but 3 weeks worth of rain, it's like, this sucks. Everything is soaked. My shoes were soaked for weeks. It got annoying real quick.
You sound like you live in Montana.
And then the heat just doesn't help. Because the rain doesn't cool it off. It just makes it irritating.
So David, down in Missoula, did I say that right?
Yeah.
What's the weather been like? You're kind of in the drier part of Montana, aren't you?
Well, yeah, most of Montana's that way right now. We were real moist and damp up until about first week of July. Then the temperature started coming up. So the last 6 days it's been above 100 degrees, but only 16% humidity.
Yeah,
But,
that's nice.
I grew up in the Southeast, so in Florida, yeah, between 2:30 and 3:30 every afternoon on the East Coast, you're going to have a 20 to 40 minute thunder bumper.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's good.
3
Froze
weeks. It's like,
Froze up there a little bit.
God, that sucks so much.
But we're
Look at my window. What's the temperature? Stupid. Great.
we're
Back to work.
we're real dry here right now. A lot of forest fires have popped off. So
Yeah. Now, Gene, are you hanging out at the boardwalk a lot or what?
No, I haven't been down to the shore at all. In fact, it's been 80, 90 degrees now. Right now, it's 88 degrees. It's actually hotter than it is in Florida. It's hotter here than Florida.
Wow.
And we have a water restriction already that the governor already issued for the state of New Jersey, which you can't water your lawns, just like common sense stuff, guys. I mean, come on. You don't run the water when you're, brushing your teeth. I mean, I'm an old camper, so I remember that. You just conserve water. That's what it's all about. But no, we, sometimes here it's really hotter. I have friends in Florida, and I'm like, what's the temperature down there? He says like 85 degrees. It's 92 here, 98 degrees, 100 degrees. It's been over 100 a couple times, and it's going to be 100 all next week. So it's going to be a real tough summer as we go through to, August into September.
Yeah. So
I think the only respite I find is I'm sorry. I was gonna say I think the only relief I find is the fact that I work overnight and I sleep during the day. So I don't have to be out in the heat, and I'm mostly inside of an air conditioned building. But you can still, as soon as you walk like 10 feet, closer to the door, it's like the door feels hot. Is the world on fire? Just curious.
So Amy, you're in the same region we are, and you got the same scenario I got. We got our own wells. But
Yes.
that doesn't mean that we have a magical, we can do anything we want. So I'm curious if are you trying to conserve it all, or have you changed any of your processes with your homestead? And are you? And I also want to talk about diversity in water. So what if our wells dry up? What if we have some problems? What are you doing about water in your place?
I am a bad environmentalist. We are not conserving water. But on the flip side of that coin, when I think about water, my main concerns are all of the livestock troughs full? Did each section of the garden get enough water at the right time today? So I'm thinking about what I'm growing and my animals, and I'm thankful. It's 83 right now. Last week it was all highs of 110, and so in the our big concern was keeping our rabbits alive, because like I said before, rabbits don't do good in the heat, and we are just a few days away from putting a large number of rabbits in the freezer, and so it was a challenge to keep everybody cool, not losing weight from the heat, and on instead fattening up to go in the freezer here in a few days. So that's mostly where our my thoughts are with water, is keeping the garden alive and the animals hydrated.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I've got automated water systems. I've got a big corn and all that stuff, and I'm dumping the water on it and stuff. But I am questioning my habits a little bit, like turning off the water and brushing your teeth and stuff like that. And I don't have to. I mean, we got our own well, but I'm still don't think that because I have that, it's a privilege that other people don't have. So I hope that other people with wells that are tapped into the aquifers and stuff like that are still using common sense as far as water. But so for you and I don't know about David, but we actually have homesteads where we're actually got these concerns of keeping our animals watered and our gardens and corn watered. And then with pigs, we have pigs here. We have to keep their wallows full and stuff like that. Otherwise, we could lose animals. And if we lose animals, we lose revenue. So it's just it's a business just as much as Hamilton Radio is a business, and Jace, the producer, does his stuff. And by the way, I also wanted to, before I forget, John, you've got a new show called Small Town Tourists, and are you still doing the movie reviews?
I kind of backed off of that. I only have so much time. I actually have a job too. So no, I backed off the movie reviews, and the reason is I want to make my own content. I don't want to comment about other people's content. And so that's really my focus. And what I'm doing now is what I've wanted to do since YouTube became a thing. And so I finally said, I'm doing it, and that's it.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I saw your last show of doing what's that area called in Apache? Flat.
Oh, Tortilla Flat. Yeah.
Tortilla Flats. Have you done any more shows since then?
Yeah, I've done a video on Pine, Arizona, if you're familiar with that, up near Strawberry, near Payson. Yeah. And I released one this morning on Whitman, Arizona.
Nice. Yes. Now, David, you've been traveling a lot, because every time I look on Facebook, you've been everywhere. You're here, there, everywhere. It's like, and then I've been trying to get you on a couple shows, and you're like, well, I'm over in, some places.
Walla Walla or other place. I didn't go to Walla Walla, but no, it's been from here to Florida, up the East Coast a little bit. Didn't go too far to the Northeast, across the South, across the Midwest, across the West, and back up, and did it all over again. So
what have you learned from your travels this year? I mean,
diesel fuel breaks my butt.
Has anything really stood out that's a little different this year than other times you've traveled?
Yeah, empty shelves at stores in a lot of places. I mean, when's the last time you walked into a Costco and you see 3 or 4 racks empty? And it's not because they're rearranging the store. They're just empty. They can't get anything. When the pandemic started in this area, you couldn't get bread flour, you couldn't get yeast, you couldn't get all-purpose flour, nothing. Then it came back up a little bit. Now it's flushing out of the system again. So it's the shelves are pretty bare here and other places along the way.
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
My wife works retail, and since March, she has been working 6 days a week, because there's just groceries in and out and in and out, and stocking, and then gone the next day when they just got a truck and back order stuff. So then the next shipment the same week, it's double what you got. It's so difficult to have groceries anywhere. My wife, my poor wife, like I said, she's been working 6 days a week. We get 1 day off together, and it's terrible.
Well, please tell her I said thank you, because country runs off the retail, and if you can't have people there working it, it's a tough job, and they usually don't get very many thanks by anybody.
Yes, sir. I will.
Gene, I know you've been doing some shows about some of the empty shelves and things like that in your area. What's been going on? Is it hot and cold, or is it just all the time, or sometimes, or what?
No, it happens. I think that what happens is the deeper and the further in a town you go, the less supplies you have. In other words, on the outsides of the town or communities, the stores are always full because I think the truckers can make it there. I have a couple friends that are truckers, and when they seen the gas going up to $1,000 to travel to 2-3 states, they said, forget it. I ain't doing this no more. The trucking company's not going to pay for the cost. They got to eat it, and they're not going to pass it on to the consumer, but the store does. So I think that's the other problem, supply and demand. We have such a huge demand, but there's no supply. Remember all them things out in the ocean that were sitting out there for months and months and months. Nobody can get anything. The truckers were there waiting. I mean, this is a combination of a multitude of problems. But in my mind, I have to say this was all engineered. This was all engineered to be this way, because you can start to see more things starting to show up. And I don't know who's responsible, but I know who's not responsible.
Yeah. So how much is diesel in your area?
Right now, it's $6.22.
Wow.
Yeah.
You'd be lower.
And I have a friend that has a diesel truck. He says he hasn't moved in over 2 months because he can't.
Wow. Holy moly.
It's just crazy. Now, you know, the funny thing about that, Rob, is, and I just make this comment.
Yeah.
People here are saying, oh, the gas is cheap. $4.33 is cheap. But the gas was $3.20 or $2.89 over a year ago. How's it cheap if it's $2 more than what it was before? And if it's $3 more, they say, oh my God, it's expensive. I can't go nowhere. 2 ways to solve that problem, guys, is you stop buying gas. You buy it once or twice a week. You don't buy it every freaking day. And you just learn to say, okay, I won't have to go there. I just go back and forth to work. On my way home from work, I'll go shop and get my stuff. I don't need to go to all these other places. And if you just did that, the price gas will go down. It will go to less than $1.87 is what I was told. Because if they stockpile it, they got to get rid of it.
What I
was showing you there, and you're right. If they quit buying it, they'll start getting a big overabundance of it.
1 day a week, Dave. 1 day a week.
Yeah.
2 days a week they'll cripple them.
Yep. My diesel discount card that I used saves me anywhere from about 30 cents to $1.25 a gallon on diesel. So right now, diesel 3 weeks ago here was $5.90, and I can buy it now at $4.34.
Wow.
Okay. There's a little savings there, but it's not savings than where it used to be.
Not.
See, everybody's got to look at it where it was.
Exactly.
And even Costco, you have to belong to Costco to get the gas price.
Yep.
And now they want you to be a member or you can't get the gas price. So there's all these little, these little intricate things that go on, but we know what's going on.
I could go for a bean tweet and $2 diesel about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So Aimee brought up something last week that actually caught my eye. Is people are changing their habits. She was talking about her daughter last week, and her daughter wants to go to now you remember we're kind of out in the country, so when we go to town, you're looking at 40 miles or better there and back. And she says she wants to go to the dollar store because she's been saving her money for things she wants to buy for something she earned money for. And her mom's like, well, I'm not going to town unless I've got multiple purposes to go, because why, and of course, family, the youngins, they don't quite understand why you just can't get in the car and go. And so I get a kick out of having Aimee on the show because I don't think about the kids' way of looking at this, but I think all of us are doing. I'm doing it too, except Jace. He just buys Hot Pockets.
That's it, man. Once a
You
week,
get those on Amazon.
twice a week, and I'll cripple them.
You might cripple yourself eating those things.
3 times a week, I'll cripple myself.
So Jace, since you work at home all the time and stuff, I don't imagine that traveling is really much of an issue for you.
It is not. It is not an issue for me. I also have a motorcycle, so I get about 100 miles to a tank. It's a 3-gallon tank, and I work 10 minutes away from home if I have to go.
Nice.
I literally, by the time I start the bike and it gets hot, I'm already at the office and I shut it down.
So do you ever get the urge to get out of the city though?
I technically am out of the city. While I'm in city limits, yes, but no, I don't like people. There's a big difference. I don't want to be around people because over the last 2 years,
6-person panel there.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not worried about these people. Like, and let's be honest. I have Rob. I have your cell phone number. Gene, I think I have your cell phone number floating around somewhere.
Somewhere, right? Yeah.
These other people, well, John too. I know John, but these other people, I don't have to see them again if I don't want to. Right?
True.
So far, they've been fantastic. But my wife actually works at a grocery store, so when she goes to work, she asks me every night, "What do we need?" I'll give her a list: eggs, milk, bread, creamer, coffee,
Beer.
cereal, beer. I have a whole case of it, beer, ready to go. But if we need it, she buys it, she brings it home. That's literally 2 trips saved.
Yeah.
You know,
I try to save time. I knew that this show would be kind of stressful because I've got this diverse panel, and it's like so I came prepared this time. I've got this panel handled today.
There might be something in here.
But you can see what's in the glass. So
2 fingers.
It just saves a lot more. It really does work out that my wife works at a grocery store, and
that would be nice.
She goes there, she buys her gas because she gets a discount. It's on the same property, similar to a Costco, but not, because she works on the property, everybody there, they give them out little discounts. So she gets her gas there, she gets the groceries there, she gets a paycheck there, spends it all there, and then brings it back home.
What's funny is before the price of gas started to come down, I was actually getting my bike and helmet ready to start.
Oh yeah.
We're only about less than 2 miles away from a grocery store, and there's like 3 grocery stores within there, and there's a Rite Aid. So anything I need, I can get right there, and literally don't have to drive. Don't cost me any money to get there. The only bad thing about it is you're paying for the car to sit. You're paying the registration. You're paying for the insurance.
You know what? And insurance or registration, yes, but in the state of Florida, you're not required to have insurance on a motorcycle.
Okay. Cool.
So I got lucky on that one. Of course, we have the other vehicle that we have for the family whenever we go out to dinner or whatever. But in Florida, you're not required to have insurance on a motorcycle.
Okay.
So I can put it up for a while.
So John, you used to ride. Do you still ride?
No, actually, I have about maybe 300,000 miles, on the saddle. But I did a trip to Sturgis from Arizona. Rode up to Sturgis, got back with a group of friends, parked my bike, and it sat for 2 years, and I sold it. I just lost the passion. It's weird.
Wow.
I can't explain it.
So now the gas is the way it is the passion back.
What motivates you back to it?
Vespa, baby, Vespa.
Yeah, with the small town tourist, that would be pretty cool to actually go to the small towns on a bike.
You see John on a Razor scooter. I gotta start somewhere.
It could be a new Food Network.
Hey, he rode the big bikes. What was your last bike?
I had a Harley Davidson Road King.
Nice bike.
Yeah, he was a serious man.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty sure secretly somewhere in the life of Aimee, she was a biker someday, weren't you?
Biker.
You know biker?
No biker.
Her Huffy Davidson.
So,
No.
what are you doing? Are you finding this year, Aimee, that you're having to do some things to save money? And because I know that when you're doing a homestead and you're doing it like a lot heavier than like Sherry and I, we're kind of like faking it.
No, you're not. You're real. You're a real homesteader.
Yeah, but she's got it where she's got 3 slave girls. I wish I had what I would do to have my kids back, because I need some help. But anyway,
Careful how you say that.
You got homeschooling. You're doing.
Watch what you wish for, Rob.
Yeah, that's true. You're very, very right. You're doing homeschooling. You've got quite a bit of animals to take care of and stuff. And I'm not keeping up with the comments. I apologize, Jack.
I'm sorry, Aimee. You're homeschooling at the same time.
Yeah.
Jesus, you're an amazing lady.
Thanks.
We did that for 6 months when the pandemic started, and
Right.
oh God, no. I welcome the 8-hour detour from my children every day. Go away to school. Be gone. I don't know. Ooh,
Yeah.
You are an amazing person, Aimee. That's for sure.
Well, thanks.
I couldn't do it. 3 children that you homeschool.
Yeah.
Yep.
God bless you, lady.
Thanks.
4, 10, and 14, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, pretty good kids. They're pretty sharp. She's doing a good job at teaching them. I don't know if I could do it, but I didn't have to be afraid of the schools back then.
Yeah.
And so it was a different world back then. We actually learned like things like math and science and all those things.
Americanism versus communism.
Yep.
Imagine that.
Pretty much, yeah. I remember having we actually had U.S. history, all those kind of things. Yeah, it was amazing. So, and then Jace, you had 4 years of degree in Hot Pockets and how to consume.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, asshole.
Hot Pockets.
Every time
Hot Pockets.
pocket. What was that Jim Gaffigan bit?
Yeah.
Hot pocket.
Burn your mouth pocket.
Right.
Yep. So I have a question for this group because I don't know where you all live. Jace has kind of told me where he's living, but so is there any advantage of where you live as far as protection? I'll use an example like Dale, who's on the show normally, but he skipped out on me today without telling me. Anyway, I had to get my 2 cents in there, but good guy. He lives on a hillside. He can see everything. And basically, as they're trying to walk up the hill, he could just pluck them off. Just one shot, and they roll down the hill. So he's got really good views. He got a good location of seeing where he's at. Does anybody feel like, is that a concern in your properties, whether you're in the city or rural or a homestead, are you located, or do you feel like you have a resource, or do you have concerns of where you live about being able to protect what we have?
Yeah, if you keep minimal things like Hot Pockets, nobody wants them. So.
Yeah.
More for me.
Yeah. So you're good.
Yeah,
but you're in a pretty good neighborhood, aren't you?
I mean, every neighborhood has its problems, but I think I'm so far back in the neighborhood that really all the trouble starts up front. You know,
What city are you in, or close to it?
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, on the south side of Jacksonville.
Yeah, I used to be a cop in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, which zone?
Yeah. Zone 1, Zone 2, and Zone 4. But those zone changes all changed now.
Yeah, they're
Plus,
all
I was on the air crew as well.
You familiar with Phillips Highway and Southside?
Yeah, you know what 8711 Newton Road is?
Nope, but I can Google it.
Right by WJKS TV tower. It's a war zone.
Yeah, it's the west side has gotten really bad. I'm glad we're on this side of town.
Yeah.
Again, every place has its problems, so I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna say, oh, mine's better than. No, that's unfair to everybody. Be diplomatic in this. Every place has its problems, but where we are, we have a lot of good people that look after one another. I know 8 kids from the bus stop, don't know their names, but I know all their parents' names, and I expect the same in return. You might not know my kids' names, but you know their face, and you go, "You act like an idiot. I'm calling your father." And kids here have just a little bit more respect than what you see somewhere else, because you're like, please don't call my mom. This is the only place I can come and hang out. And good, show some respect. And that's
I think the good thing, Rob, about living where I live is it's too damn hot to commit crime.
I so much believe that.
Step outside.
Yeah. People
like
just lay around and, spray misters in their face.
Yeah, I lived in Mesa too, and it's like I never went in the front yard. It's like you go out for a minute, maybe to take the garbage out to the curb, and you're going, I'm never coming out here again till next week.
I check the mail once a week.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And I take a water bottle with me.
I totally remember. So, Gene, do you feel like you're in a community that's? Do you feel like you're in a community?
Yeah, I'm here in Hamilton, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey. I'm on the outskirts of Trenton. Trenton is supposed to be a bad city, which it's got gangs and around and stuff like that. And we had that problem a couple weeks ago with them stealing catalytic converters right off the cars, right in the driveways, right out of the street, cutting them going. And I'm with the neighborhood crime watch with the police here, and they said there's literally nothing you can do. All you can do is just have your cameras on with Wi-Fi and pray for the best. But as far as crime goes, we have a real low crime rate here because we're, like I said, we're on the outskirts of everything, and that kind of makes us not a target for anything. When the riots happened with the Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, they were going through Trenton, they were going through Princeton, they were going through all these areas, but they did not come here because there's nothing here. There's no stores, there's nothing here but houses. So technically, it wouldn't be worth it for them to come. So I think that because of that, our area is a lot better because we don't get hurricanes, we don't have floods, we're not in a flood zone, and yeah, our taxes are super high, but we pay for that. We pay for that by, more security, more safe place for our children and our families. And
didn't Chris Christie kind of help curb crime? He said that if you commit crime, he was going to sit on you.
No, no, but let me tell you about Chris Christie. I got to tell you about Chris Christie because when I was with the New Jersey State Police for 25 years, when Chris Christie was a district attorney for the New Jersey State, he was one of the most horrible people you ever want to meet. So I didn't even think he would make me governor, but he knew somebody, and you know how it goes. Yeah. Whoever will get you wherever you got to get. Look at this freaking clown we got, Murphy, right now. He just passed the outdoor dining law again. I said, are they serious? I mean, do they live under a rock because of monkeypox?
Are you talking about outdoor eating?
Outdoor dining, yeah. They're banning the dining in the regular restaurants.
Oh my God.
And you're already hurting there. And then they're going to start outdoor dining, which nobody wants to be outside 100 degrees. Are you kidding me? Yeah. With a fan blowing, it's hot air blowing hot air.
See, now here it's like that never existed anymore. I mean, seriously, you hardly see masks around here. You hardly see any rules. I think if you went to a doctor's office or something, you might have to do that. But the restaurants are not affected. Everybody's doing what they want to do. And it's like, and we even have Governor Brown. And it's, at least here on this side of the mountains, I can't even believe and can't even comprehend that there's still those kind of things going on.
Yeah.
It just shocks me. It's like,
it's the politicians that keep it going, put fear in people, and they put the fear in people, and nobody wants to go anywhere. Everybody's afraid to go somewhere, and they don't want to spend any money because now they're afraid of the gas prices. So it's all fear. It's all projected fear.
I heard the best thing I heard over here was, do people have regrets about getting the shot in the arm thing? But do you ever hear the people who didn't get the shot in the arm say they have regrets?
No, because we never did. My kids didn't get it. My wife left her job because she didn't want to get it. She got retired 40 years and just said, you know what? Hell with them. I'm not getting it. I'm leaving. I said, God, beautiful.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I was over in California at one of the casinos. A friend of mine invited us over to stay for a couple of days, and we're in the casino in California. And no kidding, there are people lined up at slot machines with masks on, they'd pull their mask down to hit their cigarette. You
Yep.
know, is it? They don't want COVID, but they're okay with emphysema and lung cancer.
Where did common sense go? Where did it go?
So how's community living in Missoula?
It's not too bad.
Is it getting worse or is it about the same? With new people
you get into the politics and how they vote people in and what they do and stupid stuff. For the most part, though, most of them are scared. They're scared about people that have been living there, because everybody around here is armed for the most part. I mean, you got a lot more people armed than you have unarmed, and we don't have a lot of trouble with it. We've had a few killings here out of the norm because of the transients. I mean, that's been the big thing. But other than that, it's been pretty low key.
Yeah.
You got to worry more about the mountain lions and the bears.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, I'm not being funny. Seriously.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty much more worried about critters and predators than I am people here. But we do have some oddball folks out here that, that because we're out in the Tules, sometimes there's drugs involved and stuff like that, and meth and things like that. We do have those kind of problems, or people trying to grow stuff that they shouldn't be. But
but Dale's not here to defend himself, Rob.
Who?
Dale.
Dale's an upstanding citizen who lives by the law.
Yeah. So I got to tell you a joke about him is, you can have plants here in that subject. And you're allowed like 4 or 5 plants, something like that, for medical purposes. Well, I went up there and did a video of his greenhouse. I'm going up there. I kind of like to go to other people's homesteads and show people what they're doing in their homesteads. So I'm in his greenhouse and I'm kind of panning across all this stuff. And I get to these 5 plants and I'm going, oh shit. And I had to stop right there. Because I'm from Washington, and a long time before Washington, it was illegal. And, we all grew up, it was illegal. So I just froze. It's like I had that old teenage feeling that I was looking at something I shouldn't. And it's like, but for medicinal purposes, a lot of people are doing that. And I understand it. And I've heard some really good things about it. But I got to admit, as I'm panning around with that, I think I've never been shocked so abruptly, because it's like, are those actually marijuana plants? It goes, no, they're hemp. It's like, okay, what the hell's the difference? But anyway, but yeah, I guess. So anyway, I was a little shocked there. So anyway, but it's legal here in Oregon now, and in Washington was
here too.
Was legal a long time ago.
New Jersey as well. Yeah.
I don't know if it's really caused any criminal problems, other than there's still people trying to grow it illegally, where there's places where you can grow it legal. So it's like, I don't understand that totally, but oh well.
Well, it honestly, they have if you grow it legally, then the government gets their tax off of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we have her on the show.
Aimee, very good.
Now I'm on a watch list. Great.
It's just like homebrew, I mean, untaxed liquor was the same way. So
listen, if you could make your own gas, would you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah.
Just saying.
What happened to the guy that made the car that ran on water? You put a bottle of water in your car. Gallon of water is what, $1, whatever. You can get it for $1, right? In the dollar store.
Yep.
That would be, you run on hydrogen from the water. That's pretty much what he had set up, a hydrogen bubbler. Like I said, I was a mechanic for New Jersey State Police for 25 years. And we tested every little thing. And there was a hydrogen bubbler that you can use on cars that actually worked. But they didn't let it get out, because all these gas executives would lose corporations would lose all kinds of money. Putting a bottle of water for your car? Come on.
So sweet. So I need to get back to So Aimee, do you feel like you could protect your property?
Yes, but not like Walking Dead hardcore. We do have 5 acres. So I think that and even in I think to a lot of our neighbors, a lot of the other homesteaders we know in this area, in this kind of situation, that it would come down to picking a few points for a lot of people, not just specifically us. it would come down to picking a few weak points that you had to protect more. Because what are you going to do unless you're going to build barricades, especially people with livestock? Somebody could risk the electric fence, squeeze through 5 acres, and then with plots even bigger than that, how are you going to watch it all at all the same time?
Right.
Landmines.
There you go.
Who said that?
Hope the horse doesn't step on it.
You know how many pigs I've killed because of the landmines I put on my property?
So ring doorbells on every fourth post.
There you go.
I'm putting submachine guns at my gate. It's one of those automatic ones. It's just, as the car drives up, I want to just turn and point on them, and then I'll have a security camera and go, "What do you want?"
Your place is going to be like the Guru's place up in Oregon. Remember the Guru?
That's right.
Up there?
That's right. Yep. He was my hero. I need to talk about resources a little bit. What resources are on your property or near? So, for example, I was talking about the hillside that Dale lives on. Does anybody on their property feel like you got a resource that is an advantage to helping protect your place a little bit, or you don't care?
I have a weird one, but it's not really a resource as much as it is a peace of mind.
Yeah.
I know a second exit out of here. It's supposed to be a one-way in and a one-way out. I know a way to get off of this property if I have to. And unfortunately, I found out about it because we had SWAT up at the front that locked everything down. Kids could not get in. People could not leave. I found another way out.
Nice.
I won't be locked in this place. And I think that peace of mind is very resourceful to me because something can happen there and make its way here, but I won't be here when it gets here.
I got 3 resources, Rob. 2 Rugers and 1 Mossberg.
I got 1 Ruger, but I got a new AR-15, so I'm kind of having fun with that.
Nice.
But the difference between your property and my property is I've got 5 acres. I have a little more time to shoot a couple more bullets before I hit them because I'm probably not the good shot. And you guys have got to be dead on the first time in your mesa places, right?
Well, that's why I got the Mossberg. It's only an 18.5-inch barrel. So the spread is wide. I'm not going to miss.
You can't miss.
Oh my gosh! So,
I've just got a good battle partner.
That's
do
important
you?
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who's your battle partner?
My bride.
She pretty good at that, eh? You got her trained, or she train you?
No, I trained her. She never shot a firearm until we got married 14 years ago, as of tomorrow. But yeah,
nice.
she's
Hey, Dave,
wow.
blink twice if you're in trouble.
I just go. The joke in our house is I say, I sure want a Barrett, baby. And she goes, no. And we were at the gun show the other day, and she goes, you're probably going to find a Barrett at the gun show, aren't you? And I said, yeah, if I find one here, can I buy it? She goes, oh, maybe. They didn't have the first damn Barrett at the gun show. I was pissed off. So no Barrett for me.
So here's a good question down below. If you think you have a place that's being cased out, and we play these scenarios on the show all the time, what would you do to deter someone like that, in your opinion? Someone you can see them driving by a lot. Maybe they're casing the place, maybe not, but you suspect that maybe someone's kind of checking your property out. What's some good suggestions to be a good deter for them?
I would strip naked and start just shouting just insane things.
He's crazy. I don't want no part of that. Is that what it is?
That's exactly right. That's my same plan if I go to prison, by the way.
Oh, I got to have another drink.
No, I told you I'm prepared for this. I'll be right back. So actually, I like the question. How would you send a message the people driving by that, besides putting a bullet hole in their side of their truck, how would you let them know that this is probably not a place you should be messing around?
Homemade spike strips.
Be visible, be vigilant. Watch
What's
what
that?
they're doing. Be visible and be vigilant. Watch what they're doing and let them see you watching.
Yeah.
That's
know,
other
let
than
them-
starting a war, that's about all you really can do.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
idea. The fact of letting them know that you see them as much as they think they're being sneaky. Anything
Leave
you can
porch
put in your
lights on
yard,
at
your
night.
windows, let
Yeah,
your
you can put
dog
a
bark.
couple Rottweilers in your yard.
Yeah,
Leave porch lights on at night. In the community we lived in before, there was some drug crime going on, and it seemed to be more prevalent. You would get the lookers, the casers. If the more clutter or the more stuff was outside laying around, they seem to be attracted to that. So if things are neat, tidy, put away, and I have kids, so I know that is hard, but what it really helps, besides them being able to see all this stuff you have, is if something has gone missing. That happened to us when we were in the process of moving. Things were cluttered here and there, and it took a while to realize some things were missing.
So, how do you pronounce that first name? Alyssa? Is that right?
Alyssa
Yeah.
Marie.
Sound it out, Rob. Jeez, you're an adult.
I know.
And I
but,
will say
you know,
this real quick too. I use what I put on my house. I put solar spotlights on.
Yeah,
And the
they
reason
Oh,
why I
yeah.
like them is they never need batteries. They're always
Mhm.
charged during the day, and they're always ready. So you don't have to leave your lights on all the time, and it really cuts down on the energy bills. Because if you can buy, I bought 6 of them for like $50.
Yeah.
And you can put them all over your house, and they could be like Christmas lights. But they're going to go on at different times depending on what is seen, what's heard, solar, and it's really, really good to have. So I think that's the best way to go. Save money, protect your property, and use the solar power.
Yeah, we use them here on the property here for all
Love
of our structures for the animals. So if I got something walking around a pen or coyotes in the back, any movement, it'll start lighting up the place. I don't know if that'll deter them or not, but it's certainly one little thing that costs. Actually, once you buy the lights and they're solar, there's no more investment. So,
Right.
and sometimes my my back 5 lights up pretty good sometimes. I don't know what's running around out there, but I think it helps. So
Well,
I think it'd help
you
with
said,
people too.
Lights are a deterrent because the people that don't want to be seen will be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
for sure. It's kind of funny, but some people say, oh, having a lot of property is really great to have and stuff. But when it comes to trying to manage it, especially for protection or anything like that, I find that it's all I can do just to cover this 5 acres just for monitoring problems, my animals, etc. I can't imagine what it'd be like to try to maintain 20, 40, 100 acres. That'd be impossible. And even I have security cameras all over our property, and I still can't see everything that's going on out there. And but I do admit, I got that in this room right here. It is nice I can turn on sound, and sound to me is actually more important than visibility sometimes. So if I know that I'm having problems with a pig or a piglet's whining or the chickens are doing something funny, it's like having the sound actually tells me more than seeing the visual sometimes. So there's another, that's another thing for her to maybe think about is putting some security cameras that even if they don't work, at least point them towards the driveway or the front so they think they don't know if they're not working.
Sure.
Yeah, you can get those game cameras too that people use that only get triggered when an animal or something would come through. Now, it's not going to send, I don't think it would send like an alert to you or anything like that, but at least you could review it the following day and see if there's creepers walking around on your property. And I think they're relatively decent when it comes to the price. They're affordable. So
apparently the Warrior doesn't catch our show when we're live that often. So it's nice to have you. Thanks for commenting. And
it's good to be alive.
And click the bell so you get notified.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out this one here. You're all for the grammar police. That's why they like to pick on me, by the way. No, yeah. So
Rob hit that bottle before the show started. I don't want to lie to you.
Ain't got no reason to do none of that.
So I never did ask you, David, as in Missoula, are you guys having any water problems at all?
No, not at all. We're blessed with a great aquifer here, and I know the only way we're going to have a total collapse of it is if we have an EMP power outage and the pumps go down. There's more water underneath Missoula to take care of everybody here for hundreds of years, and it's great water. And we've got the river that runs through the middle of town as well, and it's a pretty good volume.
Yeah.
But
Can you install some sort of like manual pump or something like that just in case?
Now, where I am right here, it would take me about 270 feet for me to get down to water, and it's no. We've got an alternative location about 50 miles out of town that we're sitting on the edge of a river, and we've got a plethora of water, so we've got a place to go to if it gets too bad.
Do you have a generator as a backup?
Yes, multiple.
Yeah, smart.
Yep, same
Solar
here.
too.
I just, by the way, I mentioned it on the show last week, but I just got myself a Berkey.
Good
I had
for
to save my
you.
allowance. Yeah, I had to save my allowance for that one, but I got a Berkey. Now, so,
Isn't that a shirt or something? Oh, it's a burqa.
Go back in your hot pockets.
that's right. That's the hot pocket.
You're saying.
That's what I love
That's those
about
hippie sandals,
Such
isn't
a
it?
city slicker.
That's funny. That is funny.
I love him.
That's Birkenstock, isn't it?
Birkin, yeah, the hippie sandals.
Quick question. I know you guys are all asking. He was asking about internet. I use Starlink, but for people, I don't know what. Aimee, you're out in the Tules a little bit. What kind of internet are you
We're
using?
on Starlink now too.
You know, I'm actually trying a new device as we speak. So I have Comcast, which is currently off the air. Verizon is giving out these devices now for home internet. It converts cell phone signal to a Wi-Fi signal that can cover.
Be careful. I've gotten through 2 of those systems. I will never buy them again.
Oh, I didn't buy this. This is a promotional period. I get for 30 days for free. So I will happily try it.
It's amazing how the problems they have with the cell phone internet.
Start on day 31, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how it goes. But if I'm interested in new technology and playing with toys and all this stuff. And like I said, I get it free for 30 days just to try it out. And if it means that it's going to work and my internet bill is not $165 and it goes to $50, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As long as there's a cell phone.
Quick question for the panel here before we go. We only have a few minutes left here, but I keep kind of bringing this up because I feel like I keep watching my alternative news. I'm versatile in all the news I watch. And it's like some days I feel like we got a problem. And then other days I go to the store and things look normal. And it's like, is this a crock of crap? Or sorry, but do we really have these issues? Do we have these shortages? Do we have a power? Are we going to have blackouts? Are we going to have this kind of stuff? Or is this just a bunch of storytelling? And I won't go much farther than that because I only have a couple of minutes. Anybody want to add to that? Do you think we got a problem here, or are we a victim of BS?
Yes and yes. But yes, we've got a problem. We've got a supply chain issue at hand. I've got a son that's a long-haul trucker, and he handles a lot of freight. And he'll tell you real quick, they're busy as all heck trying to move stuff, but it runs out as fast as they get it. And we've talked about that here on the air today. And then the mainstream media is, I think they're in bed with whoever wants to take everything down, and they're doing their damnedest to do it.
Right, you got it.
Sons of bucketheads. I said it, bucketheads. I didn't say the other.
Yep. I just find myself torn. I'm just like, I want to, we have a platform here and we want to guide people properly. I think everybody should always have emergency stuff, whether there's going to be a crisis or not. I mean, just from everyday life where a windstorm could knock out your power for a week or something like that. And yes, I'm going to let us go over here a little bit. But anyway, I think everybody should do something. Now, whether it's a week's worth, a month's worth, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Our goal has been a year, and I think we're there. But I mean, I feel like we have a responsibility of talking about this, but not lead people into panic or fear. And so that's my biggest concern is I see a whole bunch of reports like the Taiwan thing. Let's just talk about that for a minute. You hear all this saber rattling. You see them flying around places, and they're all scaring each other. But the basically talking, nothing's happened. It's just all been saber rattling.
Can I talk about that a little bit, Rob?
Yeah, please. That's what I brought it up for.
Yeah, if you asked me that question 6 months ago, I would have had a completely different answer. But I have shut myself off completely from news. Yes. Because I was very involved. I was very involved in politics, and I have been since I was in my early 20s. And it was really just killing my soul, if you will. I think I even told you that.
Totally agree.
And what I've come to realize is this, that it doesn't matter if it's CNN or Charlie Kirk or, MSNBC or Fox News or One News, whatever it is, their goal is to get as many clicks and as many views as possible.
Bingo.
And so they know that there are two types of thought processes out there. You've got the more liberal-minded and the more conservative-minded people. And so they're going to come out with products that are going to be, attractive to both sides. And at the end of the day, these politicians that come out, Nancy Pelosi is going to come out and she's going to say something nasty about some conservative, and some conservative is going to say something nasty about her. But then when the cameras are off, they're all back in the congressional dining hall eating lobster together on our tax dollars, laughing about it. And I have shut myself off from the news and from politics and from Twitter and all these outside forces. And I would say the past 3 months of my life have been the most stress-free moments of my life. And I'm actually getting on with things that I've been putting off because I was in fear of, I can't do that right now because the world's going to end. And I've got to really, and I have just come to the realization that if it does, it does. But in the meantime, I only got a few years on this great big blue marble, and I want to enjoy those years.
If I can second what John just said, we talked about my multiple jobs earlier, and with some of the news that I record, listen, Mr. Helms, you said you were a police officer here. You know some of the things that happen here. Being a video producer for the local news, I see it from behind the lens. I'm not trying to watch it on the screen. I know what I saw. I don't need to see anything else. You very rarely see the good, and you oftentimes see the bad and people's worst. And do I make a profit from it? Yeah.
Yep.
That's why it's called a job.
Bingo.
And I have a family to feed. I'm not posting it on the internet for everybody to mock and make fun of. I'm feeding my family, and that's my job. But I'm not going to sit there and watch the news. And John, I look forward to your next 6 months or year with being stress-free. And I'm glad that you broke away from that and you found some peace.
And I don't want to say, I'm not saying that, prepping and store, that type of stuff and storage, food storage and water storage is not a smart thing to do. By all means it is. And I would recommend that everybody do that, because just in case something does go down. But my point is, I just don't want to live every day of my life thinking that the world is going to end. I can't live like that anymore.
It sucks.
And so many people on the conservative side, and I'm conservative as the day is long. So many people on the conservative side just use fear tactics to get us glued to their program, their YouTube channel, whatever it is, their Twitter account,
Money.
And
It's all money. It's always money.
It's all money. It all boils down to money. You know, like Alex Jones was on TV the other day talking about the world coming to an end, and then he says, "But, you know, buy my book," or
my colloidal silver.
Yeah.
They're no different than the televangelists of the 70s and 80s, right?
I agree.
Jesus is going to come back today, and, you know, the world's going to end. In the meantime, send me some money and I'll send you this, you know, this book or this, you know. Wait, I don't even have time to read the book. You know, if the world's going to end tomorrow, you know, the mailman's not even going to send it.
One thing to say about prepping. Friday, August 13th, 2004, when Hurricane Charlie came across Florida, my neighbors laughed at me a few weeks before that because I was a redneck with multiple chainsaws, a pickup truck, a generator system. But after it was all said, 9 days of no power, I had food, I had water, everything in my house ran except for the air conditioner, all the ceiling fans worked, and I had a big ice maker. So people were paying $20 for a bag of ice. I was giving ice away to my neighbors. But you got to be prepared for those type of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And that's the best thing I've heard. And I agree is like, in fact, I don't watch any normal news anymore. And then what I'll do is I have certain things I have on YouTube and I look at titles. And it's like, if I see a title, I'll go, okay, I want to find out a little bit about that. I'll play that. I may not even watch the whole video. It might be part of Fox News or something else, you know. But I found the same thing, John, is I totally cannot watch Fox like I used to, or CNN or any of that stuff. I don't even watch any primetime news. And it definitely keeps the stress down. I only concern myself with craziness where I just don't want to be like power going off or something, whether it's just natural windstorm or something, that I'm prepared, just prepared enough to make sure I can feed or keep ourselves warm or keep ourselves cool and stuff like that. And I think Amy's kind of the same way. Her and I are kind of in the same wavelength as far as we're just kind of providing for our families, and everybody should be, you should have a spare tire in your truck, right? Or your car. That's what it is with food and prepping, is it's a spare tire in case something goes haywire, because things go haywire. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but prepping is basically a spare tire. So I don't want to keep, no, I know, I know Amy's got chores and I got chores too. That's the problem with homesteads. So I do have to wrap this up. I did let the show go a little bit over, but I want to thank the diversity of this panel. First of all, I haven't seen some of you in a long time, and so it's so good to see Gene and Dave. Long time. I haven't had you on the show in a while.
We need to talk after this, yeah.
Jace is my little protector. He kind of keeps an eye on me, and I appreciate that. And John, you've impressed the hell out of me lately. I've seen you change, grow, and find yourself, and I'm just like Jace was saying, very happy for you, because I've seen
such a magnificent beard you have too, sir.
Yes, he's very Santa Claus.
It's coming in. Yeah, it'll be ready for November, December. I'll make a few bucks.
Yeah. Now, Gene, he's always looked like a good Santa Claus, but I think John's catching up.
I'm vegetarian, like I said, I don't eat meat anymore because I got the carotid artery clogged and now I got a bladder issue. But I don't eat meat anymore, and I'm just trying to survive every day, just like John said. I agree 100% with you, and I'm definitely an old Boy Scout, so I believe be prepared for everything, and be ready for anything at any time, anywhere you go.
I'm ready.
Anywhere.
Yeah, I think of it this way. We all have fire extinguishers in our house, probably somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And we have them just in case something happens, but we can't stand in our house clutching the fire extinguisher just in case something happens. Right. We got to let that go, and we got to live life, and you know what? I have found a greater love for humanity because I'm walking away from all of this division and hate that has been just spewed upon us from every different angle.
And I want to add that, because Amy and I have discovered something new, is we've been really working hard on creating a community in our area. and it has created a whole new happiness that I've never had on Crooked River Ranch where we live, where we literally are getting families together and we're helping each other. And it took a little work. I mean, it takes a little effort on our part and your part and everybody's part. And it's like, you got to make that phone call. You got to make that visit. And then pretty soon it's not work anymore. It's a community. And, so embracing that, getting away from this news cycle and this division stuff, I think you'd live at least 2 or 3 years longer.
I haven't watched it in years, and I don't even care about it. I mean, I know exactly how John feels when you don't watch it anymore. I don't really know what's going on other than what's going on in my life. That's all I really need to know. And what the weather is, I don't need to watch the weather. I have it on the phone. I have it on the computer. Why do I have to watch?
I figured if I want to know anything, I'll ask my wife. She knows everything.
There you go.
Smart man.
No, ignorance is bliss.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good times, yeah.
All right, guys, we got to wrap this up. So you can stay on. I got to close out the show here. So I want to thank the entire panel for being here. I love the diversity, and I love the fact that we covered a lot of regions here. So thank you all for being on the panel today. And we got to get going because I'm now almost 10 minutes over, and I never do that. I broke the rules today. So, guys, thank you. And we'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Thank you very much for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. Thanks.